Welcome to the maker side of Manor and Maker, where we are laser cutting and engraving today on the Creality Falcon 2.
We have another new tool to make some fun stuff with. The folks at Creality have sent us a laser etcher and cutter that has more power. I'm really excited about this. I was reading up about it, and it will cut through wood and plastics and all the same materials as we've seen before. I've got so many ideas that I want to do with this thing, and I confess I have not done nearly as much as I wanted to yet, but now that we have this machine, who knows? Let's have a look at what we got in here. All right. Oh, look at that.
And it comes with stickers.
It does come with stickers.
Who doesn't love stickers?
That's kind of fun. Wow, there's all sorts of stuff in here. But it looks like, so the whole unit is actually in one piece. Oh, there you go. So there's the sliding unit.
Okay.
This is very exciting.
Okay.
So we'll take that bit out. And we'll take the unit out. And there we have it. Slick looking unit. Look at the giant emergency stop button. Who doesn't love a giant emergency
Don't
stop button?
press the red button. No, wait, do press the red button in case of fire.
If there's a problem. Yeah. They also sent us this. And I think I know what it is, but let's have a check. It's a honeycomb. And the idea is for the heat to dissipate underneath what you're printing. Okay. Because if you have it on a flat surface, it will work, but the residual heat that gets trapped between whatever you're cutting or the laser and the bottom bit will actually burn, particularly the woods. Okay. So I'm kind of excited. This will hopefully dissipate some of that heat and make it much cleaner when
nice.
To cut and to do the illustrations and stuff in it.
Okay.
So yeah, let's give that a shot.
Nice.
I guess it comes with a heat sink, essentially, which is great. So again, it'll dissipate the heat. Cool. So we'll see what kind of difference that makes.
Cool.
All right, let's get this thing set up and organized, and we'll see what we can do with it.
All right.
Very excited. Thanks, Creality. Wow, I must say that was pretty easy setup. Everything seems to be working. There's a green light flashing, that's always a good sign. There's lights on here. The air is flashing, but that's because it's not activated right now. So this actually has an air pump. And I'm really curious to see what difference that makes, because essentially what happens is to keep the area cool when the laser is active, being able to pump air across it will make it much cleaner. But everything looks like it's ready to go. As I say, pretty easy setup, and I think I'm ready to test print the very first thing. So let me get some things set up, and we'll go for the first trial. Well, and there you go. There's the final product. I think they look amazing. Just get rid of this. And then you can see even the little cut through. Absolutely amazing. even the little detail in the font here. Very impressed with that. So there we have the elements for my three-dimensional egg. Amazing detail that was able to be captured with this machine. The nice thing is you don't have to compromise the design. I found that with the coins as well, as you've seen. There's no need to worry about the detail. This machine seems to be able to cut those tiny little elements out really, really well. Very impressive. I think a lot of that has to do with the air pump as well. So it blows the air, so it keeps the material cool and the laser cool. So therefore it can get to the details without overheating the material. Pretty impressive. I mean, when you start moving these things, it just leaves all the little elements behind. That's pretty impressive. I like it. I'm amazed at what they can do, and I cannot wait to see what else we can come up with. It's truly extraordinary how fine the details can be. When you look at how tiny the elements are, like in those flowers, and it was able to actually laser cut around them. That is super impressive. One of the things that we were thinking about for the laser engraver and cutter is to actually do something interesting with the front windows, the doors to the chateau. These are obviously the main doors, and they've got this film on here with this fake sort of leaded.
Oh, so look. Attractive.
Yeah, not a big fan, I must admit.
I think the only reason we haven't taken that off right away is because it actually provides some protection in case it slams.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think that's really what it comes down to. But what I was thinking might be kind of cool is to use the laser cutter to cut panels to create an artwork in the windows.
Oh, I love that.
Neat idea?
Yes.
So what I'll do, I'm going to draw up some plans, and I'll do a paper version of it first, and we can put it up and see what it looks like. And
oh, I love a mock-up.
Yeah, and if it works out, then we can, do a wood version. So yeah, let's give this a shot.
Do it.
Okay, so that was pretty successful. I managed to get all of the different pieces cut out. So let's lay them all out here on the table and see what they look like as a whole. What do you guys think about that? So this is obviously a paper mock-up of what would be created out of wood. And we're thinking of this for the front doors. This is what would greet you upon arriving at the chateau. I must admit, I am truly impressed with the ability of that laser cutter. I mean, look at the tiny little details here. I mean, obviously this is paper, but it's able to do it without any concern at all about, burning it or not being able to get those tiny, tiny little pieces. Tell us what you think in the comments. Is this something you think would make sense in the front door? I mean, some might question as to why we're using cranes in there. We are actually on the flight path of cranes between Europe and Africa. So in the fall, we see them flying towards Africa, and in the spring, we see them flying back. They're known as grue here in France. And it's sort of an indicator of the changing of the season. So I think that makes sense there. Tell us what you think. So let's see what Sarah thinks about this. First time seeing it.
What's going on here?
So what do you think?
Oh my word, do you think you could actually pull that off?
Do you think, yeah, you think?
This is the paper one?
So that's the paper version, yeah, of
That's amazing.
the window.
Would that, oh my word, that would look so amazing.
Yeah, you'd be okay with that in the front, in the doors?
Oh wow. I can't believe it cut that well on paper.
Oh, it was unbelievable and so fast. And I mean, look at these, look at how tiny.
The precision on there.
Little details and stuff, it really is quite phenomenal.
Oh, that could be just... Okay, I love that, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, you think that could work?
Yeah.
Well, what I think I'll do is I'll stick this to the door.
Yeah.
Like the paper version, and see what it looks like, and then if we're cool with it, I can get it cut out of wood.
Yes.
Cool, huh?
Yes, all of that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Well, I'm liking the look of this already.
I don't think I got this perfectly straight, but I think it gives us the idea.
Put the paper mock-up.
So there you go.
Oh my word.
Look at that.
Oh, I think that looks amazing.
Yeah, that's well, it's definitely a different look for us, wouldn't it? I like it too. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, if that was on the other side as well,
Yeah.
it feels very custom
Very bespoke.
and nouveau.
Yes.
You know, like it sort of suits what else is going on in the chateau, particularly the
tapestry?
tapestries at the
Yeah.
top. I mean, I know there's no cranes in there, but you know, I think it complements them quite nicely.
It does. You don't want to bring that direct motif right into here?
Could do. I want to see what it looks like from the outside, because that's really the approach,
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So how does that look, huh? I think that's really effective. It just feels like it elevates the entrance a bit more.
Yes, definitely more chateau-y than the plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have to do some more work on the doors, but...
Well, yeah. And the thing is, it's not permanent,
No,
right? If we get bored of it, we can always take it down.
that's it.
That's kind of the way I was thinking about it. It looks.
Could we do seasonal ones? Could we have a Christmas one?
All right, now you might be going a bit too far. We do have the printer, though. I mean, we could technically do that.
Just saying.
But we would have to be able to open that frame and close that frame. And,
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys tell us what you think. Does that seem to suit? Should we go ahead and do the wooden version of it? Obviously, the lines won't be there. We will take that film off.
The grid lines, yeah.
Yeah, the grid lines.
Yeah. That's fantastic. All right, everyone leave your comments. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that they provided with this machine is an air pump. And it's really easy to install. So it came with this hose that was actually already pre-installed on the machine itself. It was coiled in underneath here, and it's obviously been, you know, made long enough so that it can work with the travel of the machine. It popped into the top of the laser unit here, so that's where the air is pumping to. You basically take the other end of the hose and pop it onto the end here. And then you're basically set. You just need to plug it in.
Power source, right?
Yeah, so this just powers it here.
Okay, so it's not separate, you're just powering it from the machine itself.
Powering it from the machine,
Well,
which
that
is
makes
great.
sense.
I really wanted to test out the limits of what this thing can do. Obviously with the higher power, the 40 watt laser, I should be able to cut through. So what I'm going to try is this rather chunky piece of wood. In fact, this is 17 mil wood, or just below. It says it can cut up to 15 in a single pass, so I'm going to give it a shot. You can see here right now that there are 3 lights flashing on the machine. This is going to be important in this one, I think. Obviously, the lens one is green right now, which means that the lens is nice and clean. Fire, obviously the green, again, is a good thing. The air pump's not on right now, but it will fire back on when I start up this cut, and we'll see what happens there. Hopefully it turns green as well. But it's nice to have that monitoring system on here. It will tell me whether or not there's a fire that started, which obviously is an important thing. And for that, they've provided us with a wonderful, nice big red emergency stop button. If the lens is dirty, then obviously it's important to make sure that's clean so that we get nice clean cuts out of it. So that's what that indicator light's for. And as far as the pump goes, they have this wonderful switch here, or this dial, which allows me to increase or decrease the amount of air flowing over it. And this light that you're seeing flashing on here, when it's in operation, if it's not high enough, then it will tell you, or it'll flash red, and then you can keep increasing it to change it to green. You know that you're in the right zone when it hits green. So let me start out this. I'm just going to do something really simple. And there you go. You see the light here turn green. So that means that the airflow is adequate for what we're cutting right now. That'll help keep the lens clean. It will also help the cut stay nice and clean as well. If I'm able to cut through something so thick like this, then maybe things like cheese boards or charcuterie boards, all sorts of stuff is possible with it. All right, I'm just going to shut the machine down and push it back here. I mean, that's a pretty clean line. Just a little tiny bit of charring on this corner here. Let me get it out of here and we'll take a closer look. You can see on the back here that it did get through most of it. It didn't quite get this last line here, but it's super close to actually cutting through. So it does say 15 mil. I am pushing it a little further with 17 mil wood, but I'm still pretty impressed. So there you have it. Pretty darned impressive. As I say, I had to cut a little bit of it, but this is bigger than expected. And remember, that is a single pass. That is one single pass.
I hear all kinds of beeping and things going on in here.
Yeah. Well, I was just doing an experiment with this very, very, very thick piece of wood.
Oh my goodness.
And look at that.
That's a hockey puck. You've
Indeed.
got ideas, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, as I said, that came out in one pass.
Wow.
So I'm pretty impressed with that. And yes, it opens up all kinds of possibilities. I'm kind of excited about what that can do.
How thick is that wood?
Just to prove it, there's a caliper. 17 mil, hopefully.
Can I see?
Actually, 17.5 mil.
Whoa.
So yeah, that's pretty thick.
Okay, that's cool.
That's really thick, but I'm very impressed with the way that turned out.
Yeah.
As I showed you with the indicator lights on this one, there's a light for the lens. So we want to make sure that it stays clean. It will indicate if it's not clean, which is excellent to be able to have that facility. But to clean it, apparently it's an easy process. I haven't done this yet. So you basically take the unit out. Hopefully this is nice and cool now. Yeah, there's just a cap that you unscrew. On the lens, there we go. So just a lint-free cloth, just to make sure it's all clean. And then pop this thing back on. Pretty easy process, I think.
That's not too bad.
Working on.
Okay.
So I'm just going to slide this back on. And for those interested in how you figure out where to place this, it really depends on the material. But they provide you with this really neat little measurement tool. But you can see here, it has 1 to 3 millimeters, 4 to 6 millimeters, and greater than 6 millimeters.
Okay.
So that basically tells you, how far from the material you want to be. So for example, this little piece of wood here is 2 millimeters. So I want that on the highest level. So you just put that underneath, back off the screws, tighten that up.
Oh, so it's a stepped up thing. Okay, I couldn't see that when I was looking straight at it. So it's just a little step.
It's just a little step.
That helps you calibrate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now I know that is set to the 1 to 3 millimeter height.
Right. Yeah.
So if I want it higher, well, this is the funny thing. If I want it to cut thicker wood, then it needs to be closer to the wood. So you can see with the step down here the greater than 6mm wood, which is what I cut that chunk out with, you want it as close as possible to the wood.
Okay, yeah.
The software that is recommended to be used with these machines is called Lightburn. Lightburn is pretty user-friendly. What I like about it is you can actually draw within Lightburn simple shapes and things like that, so you can actually create stuff in there. Or for my liking, I can actually work in Adobe Illustrator, which is a software I know extremely well. I can design anything I want to do in there, bring it into Lightburn, and prep it for the machine. Because you need a GC file, G code, essentially. It's a language that's specifically for these machines. And you need Lightburn to be able to save those file formats out. Okay. But I can give you a really quick idea of how it looks. So this is a couple of coins that I did. So these are all the same. Those ones are all the same. But what it allows you to do then is do things like set fill or line. Fill essentially here means that you're engraving it versus cutting it. Line is that you're cutting it. So you can see the speed versus power on this side here. And then when you actually go to cut, you obviously want it to be maximum power. And adjusting the speed just depends on the kind of material that you're cutting with. So if you're cutting through really thick material, you want to reduce the speed down as much as possible. Thinner material, you can increase that up. And it's a little bit of trial and error. There is a chart that they provide you with, sort of standards, but I found it just takes a little bit of, it's worth trying a test run to make sure that it works.
I love a mock-up.
Yeah, I did the paper, for example, and that, I could have done pretty much anything. It'll cut through to draw in here.
Yeah, as long as you're generally comfortable learning software, I think this falls under that model.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, these tools are all pretty standard tools that you find in a lot of different software, right?
Shape making and standard cut paste adjustments.
So, yeah. And then it's just a matter of figuring out the adjustment to get it actually onto the machine itself. But
cool.
Yeah, a little trial and error, but that's the fun of it, right? Is
learning new things, creating new things. We want to thank Creality again for providing this really excellent machine. We are so looking forward to seeing what else we can create with it. There'll be a purchase link in the description of the video, of course.